What I'm trying to say in the final analysis, once we take control of ourselves, we have to stop being imitators and be innovators. And realize we've got a continent 12 million square miles. Wherever our bodies are on the face of this earth, our cultural and political heartbeat is in Africa. Whether you ever go to Africa or not, that is your home, that is the home of your spirit, and that is the heart and meaning and definition of your commitment. And none of us, any place in the world, will be free until that continent is free.
The Mossi warrior clan was created because myself and others like Brother Nahisi saw a need for a young African group to analyze information concerning the African phenomenon with no bias, with rigor, and with scholarship. We created the Mossi warrior clan for the purpose of being an expert research team, of being a team that produced products, a team that was capable of producing products for African people globally to dispel myths, rumors, and provide them with accurate scholarship.
I don't debate y'all. Y'all too disrespectful. Aboriginal Power won't even debate Sean because he too disrespectful.
He is though. No, he really is though. I can't really like you, bro. You cool. Not a coincidence. I actually chop it up, but niggas that come off too heated and disrespectful, like I said, I'll debate you, bro. But we gotta get in the ring first. If you want to be disrespectful like that, at least disrespect me in the ring, bro. Let's start now, bro. Can you disrespect me in a cage, bro? Like, I'd rather just do that. Then we go straight from the cage. I mean, put your ice on the way to the motherfucking computer, and we'll debate directly after that, nigga. Shit.
That's why I don't need these. Fucking with the nigga and shit. You feel me? Like, it's like, wait, bro, talk like that, man. We gotta get face to face with you to talk to you like that, my nigga.
Yeah, Peanut. You feel me? Go ahead, I got my brother already. Peanut, what's the word, my brother? What's the champ?
Yeah, I appreciate you, man, but Lucky, let me say this, man. First of all, I'm an older brother. I'm young in spirit because I stay in shape. But I'm older. I deserve respect. Don't lie on me. You're not going to get nowhere lying because that's what's going to make you fall face first. Second of all, I'm well known in the Pan-African community. I'm not nobody new. You're younger than me. You don't know this. I didn't put in work and expose Rob Bourne, Sue Tech, any of them people over there. They know it deep down inside. And I'm gonna be long-winded. I'm a Moorish American. I already had back and forth with them dude. They erased videos. I'm not running from anybody. Don't ever say that stupid shit again. Third, and last but not least, I'm not losing no debate to no Pan-African. So don't ever say that shit again, famo. And that's it. Appreciate y'all, man.
You heard that? If Sean P want to debate, tell him to debate the champ over here, right?
Sutek wanted so this like it's a pecking order. It's a pecking. So Sean want you and Sutek want him. You say PMF ain't on his
no problem. There's no problem, man. Let's set up a Sutek debate, man. I don't like him anyway.
Okay, so I love that, brother. I love that warrior mentality.
That's how it's going. I love to tell Sutek, tell me. There ain't nothing. My champ always in the chat. I'll pop in. We'll set a topic. We'll set a date. Make it pay-per-view. We'll chop it up behind the scenes. I get their contact. We make it work. So, right here. He ain't ducking no phase, bro.
But that's what I'm saying. He do this over here on y'all channel. And then when we get in other
hey, alright, I will block your ass, nigga, because I'm well known for disrupting them chats over there. Nigga, stop fucking lying, nigga. You a goofy, nigga. I would never let a lame ass nigga lie on me in my face, clown.
You gonna block me?
It ain't no time I ain't ever been on the Pan-African channel and made my impact. Stop lying. I'm a real man, bro. Stop lying, fam. Don't do PNF like that.
PNF, he trying to trigger you, brother.
Word the fuck up.
But listen, he did that to me, talking about, word on the street, I'm ducking from John P. I've never even had but one conversation with this little disrespectful motherfucker.
Oh, okay, yeah, he a little hot. He like that.
So he like...
Family, but y'all ain't find your own genealogy. Shut the fuck up. That don't make sense for one. Listen, y'all don't know what y'all did.
I feel like you standing on business.
Y'all lied on me because y'all don't even know if that's me. And if y'all can trace that shit back to it's me, it's only 2 people in YouTube that got my information.
Yeah, he died by his own genealogy. You ain't an Indian, you ain't got a lot of me. Half of this track, best believe you lose a lot of sleep. Probably because you made it up to us honestly. You ain't a Cherokee, you ain't a Chickasaw, you ain't a Blackfoot, nigga get lost. You just a fool with low comprehension. So I gotta come through with the henchmen. NAC, Sean P, Shy Son, Lucky. Don't forget Jay, got no time to play. Caught an apple slipping with his genealogy. Now he's a con and I ain't talking about a singer. I'm coming for the top apple leader. He ain't a teacher, he's a preacher. He can't keep up, so we leave him. Yeah, he died by his own genealogy. You ain't an Indian, you ain't got a lot of me. Half of the track, best believe you lose a lot of sleep. Probably because you made it up to us possibly. You ain't a Cherokee, you ain't a Chickasaw, you ain't a Blackfoot, nigga get lost. You just a fool with low comprehension. So I gotta come through with the henchmen. NAC, Sean P, Shy Son, Lucky. Don't forget Jay, got no time to play. Caught an apple slipping off his genealogy. Now he's a con. OTK, TKO. Now he's a con. OTK, you died. TKO genealogy.
Nah, I didn't hear about Nat. I figured that if he did a show, that he'll play the replay and let me see it, because he know I don't catch up with it. But peace to everybody in the chat. It's your boy Sean P, place to be. Hold on one second, I'm a little dark. Let me get some light in here. Let the light-skinned man get some light in here. There we go. See the shiny forehead. Yeah, I went to the barber. But peace to everybody in the chat, man. Hope you having a time with your family members, friends, loved ones, however y'all play it. It's not my business. Make sure, and I think Panther will be up here soon, but make sure everybody that's in here, those of you who will catch the replay, make sure you tap into Panther series that will crank back up in 2025. As you see the release of a video that he dropped, I believe yesterday, 2 days ago, somewhere around there. I'm confused right now. And get that knowledge. Let me say this before we get into it. Africa, what we know today is the continent of Africa, where our ancestors descend from directly, will be defeated by any means necessary. I'm going to say that one more time so I can make myself clear. The continent we know today as Africa will be defended by any means necessary, period, point blank. I don't care the subject matter. I don't care who you are. It will be defended. I don't care about your religious beliefs. I don't care about your God. I don't care about your gods. Doesn't matter to me. Africa will be defended and remain undefeated. That's at Billy Carson. That's at the Christian folk. That's at the ALs. That is the FBA movements. That is whoever, whenever, however, wherever. Africa will be defended. If I catch you in a chat group, Africa will be defended. If I catch you on a comment section on social media, Africa will be defended. If I catch you walking down the street or on the corner, Africa will be defended. If I catch you on a subway, airplane, bus station, taxi, Uber, hotel lobby, the beach, the park, a football game, soccer, baseball, I don't give a basketball, wherever, whenever, however, it will be defended. And how you take that is how you take that. But it will be defended. So, why am I here today? I was minding my business. Really, yesterday I was minding my business. My brother, who in the chat right now, peace to him, I won't say his name, who did it. He sent the first video. Talking about African spirituality and witchcraft. A whole Christian PhD supposed to be equating these two together in some kind of way, presenting anything. Haven't watched it. But per the title, Africa is under scrutiny. And the reason I hear that Africa is under scrutiny is because of a conversation or debate that some weirdo pseudo named Billy Carson had with another weirdo pseudo Christian apologist. Some kind of way they had a conversation or a debate, and out of that sprouts Africa being attacked. It will be defended. I will defend Africa in your church. If I knew where your church was, I will come in there while you're preaching and defend Africa. While you're on the pulpit, in front of your audience. It will be defended. Then I get a call. Just got back from the barbershop, walked in the house, my phone ring. Oh shit, what's going on now? It's brother Unc. What's up, Unc? He like, hey yo. I was like, what's up? Man, it's such live right now. I'm like, what you talking about? He's like, yeah, over there on some FBA, yada yada yada. And I'm like, oh, word. And he was like, talking about the whole we been here type dig. I said, what? Yeah, we been here type him. So I ignored it, watched a couple of other little videos that I wanted to keep up with just to entertain my mind while I was doing something else. And then all of a sudden I went over there, hopped in the chat, and I began just running down a rundown. Then the brother said he didn't really want any smoke or anything like that. He just was having a conversation about a topic. I guess he's supposed to be FBA. You be whatever you want to be. I don't give a damn. So, but that wasn't the point. The point was this clip that I'm about to show y'all. That was the point and the purpose of why Brother Art called me, was the clip. But I'm over there to kind of mix and mingle in the chat. And of course, I will say your name, James. He over there running off of his mouth. He don't know nothing. You know what I'm saying? Trying to defend some people that ain't really been disrespected, even though their work is outdated. And we said retire their work. We didn't say retire the answer. We didn't say retire that elder. We said the work needs to be retired. We don't need it. We got the update from the scholarship to prolong us beyond the point of a fictitious myth brought to us by Leo Weiner. So I just went over there to mix it up a little bit. While I'm mixing it up over there, Luzia comes up. They play Walter Nevis video. I'm like, this already been debunked. Already conversations had about it. What's the use of playing the video? You can tap in if you want some real information, because it seems like you've been so lost in Black Egypt, you don't even know what a scholarship at no more. You don't even know what's going on in the world no more. You've been too overly invested in a subject matter that's irrelevant. The moment that Africa won Egypt, Africa won Egypt. Egypt belongs to Africa. What are you debating beyond the point? Africa owned Egypt. Now, so since you caught up there for years, you know, you might be a little bit lost on the sauce. But what I originally thought that when I was coming up in the community, there was this team that formed that had these many different groups of people involved in this team, and this team all had a different or focus in which they concentrated on in their studies, and they taught to the community in the lanes in which they drove. But at the same time, you had to know a little about a lot so you could be multifaceted in your learning to be able to pull from those other lanes and incorporate it in your lane. Basically, what I mean by that is history and science, linguistics, right, math, and other instances, right, that we're talking about. I'm not here to harp on the group. What I'm basically here to say is the math ain't mathing. Where are you getting this from? Where are you getting this from? How important to you really is research methodology? You're going to put on a clip and somebody say it, and that's supposed to substantiate something that somebody else said? No. Come on. I'm not going to play something for the audience and then do like that. And then I'm going to go search and then, oh, dang, this it is. Okay, I see why you're saying that. Don't do it. Don't jump off the cliff if you're not prepared for what happens when you jump off the cliff. You're going to either break your bones or splatter your brains. Either way you go. But if you can prevent from jumping off the cliff, take the advice and don't jump off the cliff. Just hold up. Wait a minute. I love to say this one thing. Ujawu always told us, before we hit the like button and before we talk about a subject matter, please be prepared for that. Make sure that you know what you're talking about before you get there. Don't get caught up in the middle of a conversation and you're unlearned on the subject matter, because there could be people watching, critiquing you, and prepare to bust back. Not only was that a staple of what Wu always told us in the session, the rest of the session said the same thing. It's intimate truth we own. So we're going to play it how it go. But the other called me, brother. Hey, yo. Ran down the 1-2 with the 1-2. He's supposed to be simul streaming. But I think we kind of messed that up a little bit, or I jumped ahead, but he said he was ready. But we were going to try to simul stream this thing because there was things that needed to be talked about. However, I'm going to show y'all what was sent to me. And I know I'll be out of the loop on a lot of the pseudos and their channels and stuff like that because I don't watch them. I like my brain cells. I love my sanity. Oh, this is the channel that I was on. Oops, my bad. And you see my comments right there in the chat, but let me stop sharing that because it don't show all my comments. But let me get to this clip. There you go. So this clip was shared to me, right? It was clipped 43 minutes ago. Girl, you know what I'm talking about. Playing games. Let me make sure y'all can hear this.
The earliest botanist and anthropologist in America. Well, I'm giving you names, sir.
No, hold on. What was the first name you gave me?
Von Wutenau. Or you can Google the term unexpected faces. That's the.
You said Von Wooten. Alexander Von Wutenau?
Yep. In his book, Unexpected Faces in Early Americas. See that? The earliest botanist and anthropologist in America. I'm giving you names, sir.
No, hold on. What was the first name you gave me?
Von Wutenau. Or you can Google the term unexpected faces. That's the
You said Von Wooten. Alexander Von
yep.
Wooten.
In his book, Unexpected Faces in Early America. See that? This is a white.
All right. So I wanted to play that and let that play that twice because this is what he's using as his evidence to argue where there are black Aboriginal tribes in America before Columbus. Von Woudenhou's book can be found in the Congress Library, or the archives.org, basically, is what I'm referring to. And it's called Unexpected Faces in Ancient America, 1500 BC AD, which is weird, 1500. 1500 BC, and then he put the AD in front of the other 1500. Basically, 1500 BC to 1500 AD. The historical testimony of pre-Columbian artists. Let me make this clear. It says pre-Columbus artist. Okay? That's the book. Now, I have to go somewhere else and get the rest of the book, but chapter 1 talks about a young European diplomat looks for Indians in America from the perspective of Wolof Castle in southern Germany, traveling up the American continent through Chile, Peru, Panama to a new assignment in Washington, D.C., the Black Taxi driver in Panama City. Then so stuff like that is talked about in chapter 1. Chapter 2 talks about the search for human aspects in ancient America becoming a fascinating investigation. Ethnic diffusion and cultural diffusion is a topic of conversation. Anti-diffusionist attitude of Mexican scientists in chapter 3. Chapter 4, trans-Pacific, Antarctic and transatlantic contacts. Trans-Antarctic contacts to remote 6,000 years for this study. The Ra One, listen, the Ra One, that's how y'all are familiar with this. The Ra 1 and Ra 2 expeditions are in this. By Thor Heyerdahl. Then you have pictorial documents versus written records and evaluation of historical facts, dating of archaeological pieces, some other art, and then in chapter 6 it goes on. Now I gotta find a better version of the book so I can get the complete copy of the book, but which I could put on the screen. I don't want to put what I have on the screen, but that's pretty much the chapter. So you're familiar with this because of the Ra 1, Ra 2 situation. Okay, that's what he's using as his reference or background for black Aboriginal tribes. Now, you didn't hear anything too out there based on what I said. You didn't. You wasn't gonna go crazy, anything like that. However, I'm going to show you in just a second the relevance of why he used that source. I got to send it to myself. Now, this is going to look real familiar to y'all once I do this. See, I don't want to make nothing up. I want you to hear this for yourself. And I know a lot of y'all follow dude, and I know a lot of y'all think y'all FBA, and I know a lot of y'all want to be Aboriginal, and I don't know what it is or what this fascination is with that, but let me see if this can come up. But before I do that, before I do that, hold on me. Let me. I think Black Panther. You already up here? Where you go, bro? Oh, there you go. We get Black Panther in the building. What's good, my brother?
Lafayette Mandala, baby, for Houdier. What's going on, brother?
Not much, man. Just want to, protect and defend. Protect and defend.
The cancerous group that will not die.
Nope.
Well, part of them died. We were talking about ADOS. That's dead. So now they have transitioned to FBA. Well, I guess it is what it is. And thanks to a certain Bronx rapper, they want new life now. They want to.
So this is coming from.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. This is coming from Fat Joe and his comments that he made on Mad Hoffa's podcast. Apparently, he was made aware of FBA, and he didn't take too kindly to what they had to say, citing the Caribbean of having contributions to the Black experience. And from his observation, he said that places like Guyana and Grenada and other places have a piece of this story that, the FBA didn't want to hear or acknowledge. And I was rocking with Joe when he said that until Joe called them broke N-words. And that is when, Mr. Tariq Nasheed got involved, and they went back and forth on Twitter. And we have to analyze what's going on here piece by piece. Until Fat Joe mentioned that N-word, he was 100% correct. But for some reason, Fat Joe think everybody Black, to include himself. Fat Joe has consistently over the years used the N-word in his music. He has consistently said that, everybody come from Africa. So to him, damn near everybody, if not everybody, is Black. Fat Joe doesn't, he's not a historian. He's not a scholar. He's not scientifically literate. He doesn't understand mutation and time and chronology. He doesn't understand these things. So it's ignorance on his part for that portion. But when he talks about other groups of people from the islands, Jamaica, Caribbean, and all the places he named that have a piece of this puzzle that is the Black experience in America, he's correct. He's not wrong in that. And he's also not wrong when he says that groups like, FBA don't want to engage, acknowledge, or talk about that part. He's correct in that. But where he made a foolish error is, this is something I learned from a gentleman I no longer speak to, but what he said is true. You don't make people famous that are below you. And what I mean by below is in the tier of popularity, people know Fat Joe more than they know Tariq Nasheed. But he gave Tariq Nasheed life. He mentioned his group. he gave him a springboard to be mentioned now in his realm. So essentially, he gave FBA a springboard into mainstream hip hop conversation where they probably would have never been there if not for Fat Joe. So Fat Joe made an error in doing that as well. Because now it's like everybody's talking about it because of that one thing he did. So I wish he wouldn't have done that, but that's what he did.
Gotcha. So earlier I had played that little clip from Tariq, and it was referring to that book that I mentioned. And I want to show people why he referenced that book. Of course, this is why he used this book. Now, just listen. I think hopefully y'all can hear this good.
No, was one of the few white men who would tell the truth about the things he would find. He found that there's artifacts with Africoid and Negroid faces on ancient monuments and figurines down there in Central America and here in North America as well. He wrote a book called Unexpected Faces in Americas. And in his book, he documented all of these private collections of figurines of Black people that date back thousands of years here in the Americas.
Y'all heard that? One more time for the people in the back.
There's a white archaeologist, historian named Alexander von Wutenau. He moved from Germany down to Mexico. Von Wutenau was one of the few white men who would tell the truth about the things he would find. He found that there were so many artifacts with Africoid and Negroid faces on ancient monuments and figurines down there in Central America and here in North America as well. He wrote a book called Unexpected Faces in Americas. And in his book, he documented all of these private collections of figurines of Black people that date back thousands of years here in the Americas.
Now,
oh no, not this guy.
This is who he used.
Oh no, this
in his conversation from the clip that was just played, and that is the reason why he used that person. Now, based on what Tariq and Steve said, and referencing that source, the validity of evidence does not substantiate Tariq's feelings. None. There's no evidence.
It speaks to someone's bias, because when you do research on the white guy he's talking about, he did have a private collection of figurines. He also admitted that the figurines were fakes. He also admitted that. He's also quoted as thinking that the Olmecs came from Japan. He also said that, but that's not mentioned in the video that Tariq made. It's just picking and choosing what you want to believe and what you're driving your narrative to be. That's probably one of the worst sources that you could bring. That gentleman. In particular, that's pretty bad.
But what about when he goes against Van Sertima?
Yeah, he does.
They mentioned
he does, because Van Sertima traveled to meet him, and they didn't agree when they met
at all. At all. And I don't think people are aware of that. So what I'm going to do is give y'all a piece of information that also sources him in that conversation that we've seen before in the JSTOR article. I put it in the chat. A lot of people in our community took offense to this article as well. It's called "They Were Not Here Before Columbus: Afrocentric Hyperdiffusionism in the 1990s." A lot of people, were fighting back, so to say, that idea. But no, there's also a video that's out even refuting both of their claims. People are just unaware of that. I thought, like, when we read people's work, our first intent and purpose was to understand who the author was, because that would give us a general idea of how we should be able to move forward and see if we can draw out the biases from that author. But I don't expect from Rico, because he has a whole agenda. He's got a series of hidden colors that ain't checked. And that's put before us. Correct. Tariq Nasheed plays he jumps the fence in certain arguments only when it's to his benefit. He'll switch up in a heartbeat if it's the right conversation to be Pan-African, sure. Then he'll switch to FBA in a heartbeat. Whatever else he needs to. He's all the above. But he does that to draw in his audience, which is what he's surviving off of.
I mean, when you speak about authors of things, I mean, we first met Tariq Nasheed as a pimp. I'm not talking about a guy that just goes out and gets lots of women. Like a real pimp. He is on pimp DVDs. He wrote books about macking. All of a sudden, from that, he became a Moor. He was a Moor. He used to have a app that you could load on your phone, which you could find more science temples in your area. That was him. All of a sudden, he switched from that to a Pan-African. And that's when the Hidden Colors series dropped. And he was a part of that. And he incorporated, he attempted to incorporate some of his Moorish ideology, thoughts, and beliefs into Hidden Colors. So much so that James Small pulled his coattail and said, "Brother, that ain't it." And that's a quote. But you won't know that unless you're behind the curtain. But James Small kind of pulled his coattail at one point. When the Pan-African thing wasn't working no more, now you see the latest evolution. Oh, I forgot the music in between. If you ever just type in Tariq Nasheed Mink Slide, if you want to laugh, you could type that in. That get you a nice laugh. He's had various services, and now this is the latest evolution. This is their latest evolution. Now that all the money then dried up from the other stuff, now he stole the FBA idea from Yvette Carnell and Antonio Moore. And I said it when I saw him aligning himself with them on Twitter. I told everybody, and Sean can attest to this, I said, he gonna steal that group from them. He gonna steal that group. I knew it was coming, because this is what he does. He latches on to things, and then when he gets enough information, he tries to create his own thing. If you don't believe me, ask the other members that were interviewed for Hidden Colors, but their interviews didn't air, but he stole their information and put it on the interview. Ask Professor Griff. What's that Moore that you used to battle with, Sean? Light-skinned brother with the dreads.
Oh.
That said he went to Morocco.
Bay. What was his name? I think his last name was
Sabir Bay. That's his name.
Yeah.
Yeah, he interviewed him for 3 hours and just stole his work and put it on in colors with him talking over it. That's what he does, man. So he stole Yvette Carnell's and Antonio Moore's fan base and created his own group. And now, he's turned it into a xenophobic hate group for his monetization and funding. He tricked y'all into buying a museum that he made into a bar and then closed it. I mean, but that's just what he does. Not a strong researcher, not a strong scholar, a chameleon of sorts. It's just what he does. And he's just a dangerous person to get information from. Honestly.
And Tariq Source is one of the proponents for certain pre-Columbian transoceanic contact theories. So you can find that on him versus the evidence. And this is how we know what we know. So even though it's outdated information, and we know that he was a part of some speculations that he could never bring evidence for in those arguments, you can't get lost in the fact that some people still will try to use him and Ben Sertima, although there was a disagreement between the two parties, an argument against people who were telling the truth about the evidence. And so that's how all of this sprouts. But then I was on the show that I was on, watching some of the show that I was watching earlier, and I kind of went back because I couldn't believe my ears of where, there was a show called We Was Here before the transatlantic slave trade. Luzia was a Black African woman in South America. I was like, what? Walter Nevis. That's the argument there. That's incorrect. Then they were, saying things like, well, somebody was here before them. So who was the people that was here before them? And I'm like, the Paleo Americans. Those Paleos were a consistent group who came over here in small migrations. I even offered to a book up, the Origins book by Jennifer Raff, that gets into specific details that have all the work and all of that in regard to the argument to help solidify that. And Lucky laughing in the chat, but how many times we got to keep revisiting Walter Nevis and how he even walked back on his original work as well. And this is what a lot of people are unfamiliar with. So they're picking what to use from these people, but then they ain't getting the updated information of where they walk back and says, I was incorrect. This day, with the evidence that we have, Dr. Van Sertima would have corrected himself in a lot of aspects. And if he didn't, he just would have been invested selling you a lie. It's just a fact. Then they were mad, talking about you want to throw away the elders. No, you don't throw away the elders. You retire their works because it's outdated and there's no way of updating that. You correct work. We got the information now. You have a tool that he didn't have when he wrote. They came before Columbus. He had no genetic. He didn't have DNA. He didn't have a footprints in New Mexico. He had that science.
I was looking for this footnote. I found it. The director of the Institute for Anthropological Research at the National University of Mexico examined those figurines that Van Sertima was talking about, that Alexander von Wonthau had. He declared them to be fakes. And that director's name is Warren Barber, who is a specialist in the study of pre-Columbia's terracottas. He also concurred that they're fake. So we have a director of the Institute of Anthropological Research at Mexico. Then we have Warren Barber, who is a specialist at the Pre-Columbian Terracotta. Both of them said they were fakes. So it's we just don't be making stuff up, man. It's at this point, I understand people and their bias, but you don't have any credible evidence to suggest what you find are something that we should actually take serious. There's nothing to take serious. And I know most people just get their information off TikTok or Twitter or something, and they just kind of run with these videos that they make. I know you haven't read this work. I know you haven't sat down and actually read any of the people's works you're defending, because if you did, you would have questions yourself. You would really have questions. I mean, if you read someone like Leo Weiner's work, and he talks about the Mandingo influences of Olmecs, and he thinks they came from the Congo, like you would have some questions for that. I know you haven't read it. I know it. And you guys just expose yourselves over and over. Like if you ever looked at the map that Van Sertima used, if you looked at this map, you would have some questions. It's called the Piri Reis map, Pirireis. If you looked at this map that he suggests, you'd be like, ain't no fucking way. This ain't it. But I know a lot of you have not, the people that are defending this have not sought out that information. If you read his claims about purple murex dye amongst the Olmecs and his links to the ancient Egyptians, you would have questions, because you can't find this color in ancient Egypt. To not only that, ancient Egyptians already told you their most prominent color is called Egyptian blue. It's not purple. It doesn't fade to purple either. You ain't read this stuff. I know you ain't. Like, the more you talk, the more people just expose themselves. How are we making Medu Neter and Olmec language connections when the Olmec language hasn't been deciphered
at all?
How are we doing that? How are we doing that? How is that possible? Oh, I forgot. He tried to use the Mayan language. And even when doing that, he got the Medu Neter words wrong. Like it's so much. I'm telling you, this rabbit hole is so deep. It's almost embarrassing. It's almost embarrassing that we have Black people that hold on to this, to be quite honest. Like, I feel embarrassed. Like when I meet people from Mexico that are actually from this culture, or I meet Native Americans and I know that they got their history there, I feel embarrassed for us. Because here we have all this history that's documented. And we don't want that. We want somebody else's. We have become the colonizers in which we hate. I'll say it again. We've become the enslaving, colonizing people that took us in the first place. Because now we taking other people's cultures.
Yep. Married to misinformation. Man,
it's disheartening, but fortunately, there are enough brothers and sisters, I believe, that that don't buy the BS. and will actually know how to research and properly apply methodology to questions they may have or to situations that involve more study. And I mean, I believe there are more of us than there are of the people that want to take advantage of people's ignorance to sell products. Like I've said on this channel a bunch of times, you got to look at the big picture. Why is it that all these people that try to sell you these lies have something to sell you?
Right.
Before COVID, those of us that were paying attention, was he not planning to do a FBA conference in which he raised $300,000 for? Where'd the money go? He never had the conference. Like, y'all are funding this dude's lifestyle, like going back to the pimpers. Now y'all the hoes. He don't go after women no more. We the new people he want to put on the corner. Don't be pimped. Don't be pimped, man.
Yep. Before we get back to that, can you tell the people what you got coming in January?
So I decided to make a series highlighting the finer parts of Yoruba culture. For those that are unfamiliar, the Yoruba are the people from southwestern Nigeria who the Orishas system called Isheshe belong to. I do not want this to be an Orisha facts series. It's going to be more detailed than that. We're going to get into paleontology, archaeology, linguistics, history, not just spiritual history. And we're going to highlight how it's interwoven between the culture. We're going to talk about things like the Big Dry, which was a 6,000-year famine in that area of Nigeria. We're going to talk about why that occurrence led to ironsmithing and the rise of ironsmithing amongst the Nigerians, which gave rise to gender roles in Nigeria. We're going to get into all of that, how that's all connected. We're going to get into the War of Ara and our battles with our Muslim counterparts from even back before the transatlantic slave trade. We're going to get into, what they call deep time in Nigerian history amongst the Nok people and how it's related to the present day Yoruba people. We're going to get into all of that because I think it's important, not just the spiritual component of Orisha and I'm Orisha this, I'm a child of this, and I wear beads. And yeah, we have a lot of information on that. But we also need to understand how things came about, why they exist, what occurrences led to different things happening. Because the current culture in Yoruba is something of a story of thousands of years. We need to dig into those crates and see how this shaped thousands of years to better understand the current product. Just to give the analogy, no matter what football team is your favorite or what basketball team, there's a training camp, there's an off season, there's all this that goes into putting together a championship team. And if you're going to tell the story of that team, you got to start from the beginning. So I'll be going into more of those type topics and bringing it to the people.
That's good, man. So y'all got to make sure y'all tap in, subscribe to the channel, etc. for that. Just to add, I'm going to put this in the chat for a lot of people too. I need to read this. This goes back to what Brother Ben was talking about, those terracottas. And then there's another article. I think, Ben, you even posted that on Facebook, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But you want to just make sure y'all read this. This gets into a lot of that, and you'll see Alexander show up in here and get some correction. And it'll tell you in this article. It's only 10 pages. It's not a lot of reading, but they'll tell you that, you know, some of his stuff, et cetera, looks to be fakes. And they'll admit that here. And you go with it, you take it how you want to go with it. But more importantly, is something in here, and I'm doing this to just kind of spike V-Note in the chat because he's having a heart attack right now because people are attacking what he want to be. And I can get into Mr. Peruvian since V-Note want to be from Peru so bad. I can get into some, but I wanted to show y'all this right here because it's a primary source right here, right? And these people ain't looking too black like V-Note be saying. They be painting themselves black and they was black peoples and all of that. And I just wanted to kind of throw that, throw that out there. V-Note, the evidence gonna support them. And we got a live science.
It's like you said, man. When we first dropped that article, there were a lot of people fighting back. A lot of people had a lot to say. So, we've already heard these arguments y'all putting out. We already stomped them out years ago. So it's kind of easy. I haven't heard anything new.
Nah, me neither.
It's kind of just the same stuff. Yeah, it's kind of just the same stuff. Like, we already went down this road. When I initially took on this topic, I really wanted Van Sertima to be right.
I don't think everybody understands.
Right. I wanted them to be right, bro. Because they got smashed by them white boys. They did. And I did not want that to be true. That's my bias. I was like, man, ain't no way, bro. Ain't no way. It was so. Unfortunately, it was so. A lot of people jumped on that bandwagon and jumped out the window. But we can't never really correct things if we don't know what's wrong. So it is what it is.
I don't think we invested in.
And then I found more African scholars that was like, yeah, we don't support that. And I was like, oh.
Right. This is the question that has always been asked and never answered. If we've been here, then where are the old world diseases before the Europeans arrived? These people would be immune to old world diseases. Some of these things that plagued people by now, by the time people arrived, by the time the Europeans got here. And then we coming over here, we don't know if we carrying malaria with us over here. These people ain't experienced no malaria. We don't even see that like that here. We ain't seeing them old world diseases that are just tearing other people up. Not seeing that, man. And people have a problem with that. I see Tarka, you said something about the skin map. Oh yeah. All skin folk ain't kinfolk. Mm-hmm. That's right. I don't know Anthony Browder advocates. But if that is what he advocates, then he would be incorrect because he doesn't have any supportive evidence for that matter. And a lot of people don't. I mean, we still have people in the community that hold on to Ivan Serta, Runoko Rashidi, and others who won't let that go. That's an old argument that we see people with PhDs that we communicated with for years hold on to that. You finna say something, Ben?
Brother, I'm gonna go ahead and bounce out, brother.
Okay.
But yeah, man. There are a lot of people with that opinion. I think they're more concerned with defending the person, the information, because that was their colleague, that was their friend. So I'm biased in that. At the end of the day, we got man. Spears is flying, pseudos is crying.
Bro. All right, so real quick, man. I did put some information, some sources in the chat, and before I hit this link, it's gonna take us to a shared place. I wanted to bring up real quick, and I'm gonna revisit this, but I wanted to bring up where I was earlier in the YouTube streets and just kind of quickly show y'all why I was here. So I saw this, and they still live.
I ain't playing no music. Well, I'll play some music. Let some people get
And I can look at the comments and see that they slow.
That's be like when you play information like that, they gonna
Yeah.
What did I? Come on, dog.
Mr. Black Egypt, right? Mr. Black Egypt is live. He been live for a long time, 4 hours.
Right.
And but hold on. So they start this off with a conversation.
In Dominican Republic, where
but I don't want to get
the question, and the natives say no, these people came from south and southeast. So if you do the math, if you did it like that, it will land you on continent on West Africa, if I'm not mistaken, right? Somebody can answer that.
Hispaniola is what they call the
that went to North America. He doesn't claim to have gone. He's only given the description of X, Y, and Z. And then, it is what it is at that point. The sculpture here, and he wanted me to watch this video. He replayed that for me way down here about an hour ago in this same conversation, because I hop up in the chat and I start going, shoot my shots. But there's not, it's a lot of talking on the stream and not a lot of evidence, as it is just a conversation, which was open to everybody, and the little information that is shown, you know what I'm saying, kind of go from right here. So if you're showing all of this in this video, the first American, and he's playing a video from somebody who titled the video, "The First Americans, the First Israelites, the African World Civilization." So he's playing a video from that group of people, which is, kind of crazy. And then he has somebody in the chat ask me about out of Africa. If you don't understand the migration of L3 haplogroup out of Africa and the two routes it took, L3 did not remain L3 as it passed through other continents. So you need to understand that. And when I told them that the first peoples to inhabit the Americas were the Paleos, who were an admixture of Siberian and East Asians. They couldn't fathom that either. So there's a lot of talking that went on to that. But I would only be in the chats, not in the, I didn't hit any Zoom link or anything like that to join the panel. I didn't feel like arguing with any of them. But when I joined, though, he had to pull this article up right here, because in the chat, not this one, in the chat, I was telling him that Luzia did not have Africoid features. See, he playing the video. I'm in the chat at this point, but he played the video again. Then they show the Neves article on craniology, which is, you don't want to use that in the argument. And then he brought up this source, which I've showed y'all before, who talks about Luzia, and in this same source, it says that she's the first Amerindians. Then someone wanted to talk about Anzac 1. All of this takes the Negro out of Luzia. And so I provided some information in the description of this video to kind of to talk to y'all about that. So now I want to kind of walk backwards and just kind of get into Walter Neves, who is Luzia's father, quote unquote. But he's the father of Luzia, an 11,000-year-old human skull, because he did putting the work together, whatever the case, no matter how wrong he was initially. So this is the oldest ever found in the Americas, which belong to an extinct hunter-gatherer people from Lagoa Santa region. Let me pause real quick. Luzia's date has been even moved back a few thousand years, some dating it even at 16,000 years, potentially. Okay, but listen to this. I'm going to skip ahead because it's pretty much him. It says, formulated more than 2 decades, the theory argues that our continent was colonized by 2 waves of Homo sapiens from Asia. The first wave of migration occurred about 14,000 years ago and composed of individuals similar to Luzia with non-Mongoloid morphology similar to the current Australasians and Africans, but who left no descendants. The second wave arrived here about 12,000 years ago, and its members had the physical type characteristics of Asians, from which modern Indians derive. In this interview, Neves, a scientist, a combative, as he is popular, who enjoys a good academic fight, talks about Luzia and her career. So in this little interview, it gives you the breakdown of what's going on from there. So I just wanted people to know that you can go back and you can and see what's going on with him and the questions that was asked during the interview to get some insight. However, one second. That was a 2012 article. This is a 2018 article, and this article talks about the indigenous people who occupy Lagoa Santa, which is where Luzia is found. And this goes back to 14,000 years. That's why I say 16, because there's other information out there. Now, if you read this slowly, and I'm going to make this make sense to everybody, and then I'm going to, here I come. Got it. Hold on, let me make this point real quick, and then I'll hit this other link. But it says, when the girl who later will become known as Luzia lived in a cave, what is now the town of Lagoa Santa minus Juris 11,000 years ago, she can never have imagined that in the 21st century, her appearance and ancestry would be the source of an intrigue and a debate among scientists. Genetic sequencing of her compatriots and contemporaries, but not Luzia herself, suggests that the large lips and broad nose features typically associated with humans that first occupied the Americas probably did not represent reality. Luzia was a Native American. She was not African, says geneticist Tabitha Humenmeyer from the Institute of Biosciences at the University of Sao Paulo. That shows that the ancestry of the people in Lagoa Santa is 100% Amerindian. The possible exception of only individual 3% of whose genome originates from another population. says anthropologist Andre Strauss from the Museum of Archaeology and Ethnology at USP. He and Humemeyer are co-authors of a study published in the journal Cell, which I mentioned on Smash Show. I said you need to read the Cell article as it clears up everything. Now, I do have the Cell article regarding Luzia and the argument in another video on the same channel. Says he is named on another Sciences, but not published in November 8, which established a chapter in the story of the Americas. So I wanted to pause real quick because I ain't got to go through all of that. As soon as I said what I just said from the geneticists, you already know Luzia ain't going in that direction. So I wanted to throw that out there. But not only are we talking about Luzia, what about Luzio? Remember, you got the female, and here's the counterpart. She was not alone. There was a male that was also discovered under the same pretenses of that one. His human skull, and gives us a date settled around 16,000 years. This is why, and this is more updated information as of 2023. Luzio provides an insight to Luzia. They're in the same region, same areas. This is the data that we have. I ain't even got to argue with nobody. Genetic analysis showed Luzio to be an Amerindian, like the Tupi, Quechua, or Cherokee. I just wanted to get straight to it because I know a lot of people like to microwave things. So I just wanted to end it up right there. That doesn't mean they're all the same, but from a global perspective, they all derived from a single migratory wave that arrived in the Americas more than 16,000 years ago. If there was another population here 30,000 years ago, it did leave descendants among these groups. That means abos looking to run into something for whatever reason it is. What no descendants left. So if you claim to always have been here, you ain't leave no evidence behind. These people walk straight into the Americas unbothered. No war, no confrontation, no none of that stuff. Straight ignorance. So hold on one second, y'all. Let me. Yeah, Mr. Peru, I got something for you too, Mr. Peru. I sent it to Not a Coincidence earlier. I sent it to Not a Coincidence about 3 hours ago. I said, V-Note always talking that ish. Well, we got archaeological records from 1,500 years ago about tombs in Peru that holds human sacrifices, including strangled children, fathers' remains, and everything. So we got a whole tumultuous piece of evidence. It just said, bag up, V-Note. You do not want these problems. You do not want these problems. You wasn't here when nobody black that looked like you here. You don't know nothing about this ritual, these sacrifices, or this evidence that they left behind, proven it's 1,500 years old, proven that there wasn't no Negroes there, buddy. So you might want to dial that back a little bit. Give me 1 second, y'all. Let me do this. I ain't gonna be here long, but you know what I'm saying? Wanna hop up on here real quick. Been live for 11 minutes.
Every time, woo-hoo-wee, man, y'all already know what it is, man. It's God killing the house. And I come to do what I got to do, and I'm gonna do what I got to do. I'm standing strong, I'm standing tall. Hey, you know what it is, man? Uncle the God killer's in here, and I got a special guest with me. Man, he has led the way, the official elbow killer. Man, you know what it is, man? What's up, elbow killer? What's up with you, Sean P? What it do? What it do? What it do? I shocked them with. I ain't even let them know you was coming. What's good,
What's
bro?
up, Unc? What's going on?
Man, you've been putting this work in, man, on this. I'm just saying specifically exterminating the TikTok Indians, bro. For what, 2 years now, 3 years? Well, how long you been doing it straight? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Picked it back up. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I ain't gonna have a conversation, man, without mentioning you, man. I wouldn't do that. Huh? Your thing, you stuck on screen. Then get your thing. Well, you close them tabs. You got 1 million scholarly tabs up. I'm gonna let you do your thing, man. Peru Crack, Caress in the building. What's this? Too Smooth 71. Mika One is in the building, man. Man, oh man. Yeah, close some of them tabs. You know what I mean? And happy holiday, y'all to celebrate that. Whether you celebrating Hanukkah, you know what I'm saying? Christmas, you know what I mean? Or our famous black holiday, Kwanzaa. Don't get Kwanzaa mixed up with Hanukkah. Yeah. Gary Hart is in the building, man. Jonah is in the building, man. I said that right? Jonah. Uh-huh. All right. How string working? How you doing? What you doing? You seem coming back a little bit. Yeah, I can see you clear. Yeah. So listen, man. Listen. The elbow killer. Listen, man. Let me say this. I want you to know that I had an epiphany talking to no Christian. He was like, and pick up the suit tag, man, because he over there with you too, y'all. Y'all back to back on that. Big up the suit tech, man. Mossi Clan Warriors, Kofi Pasa, you know what it is, man. All that work. Listen, I was saying, we got our elders, right? All right, yeah, I mean, they came for Ivan Van Sertima. I ain't tripping off him. Yeah, he was an official doctor. He had his doctorate in anthropology, right? You know what I mean? And it's our job to read the work, right? It's our job to read the work, read the work. And when we find the holes or it's not living up to the standard, we dealt with it. No disrespect, right? You just can't keep carrying urban myths on, and you can't keep carrying misinformation on, right? So I'm never gonna call Ivan pseudo. It's the people that continue to support and push his discredited claims as pseudo. That's when the claim becomes pseudo. Okay, because I'm gonna talk about some Europeans that made these claims too, right? And if it's pseudo, it's pseudo. At the time, right, it was part of what they was doing to get that right. Now it's officially pseudo. So if you pushing that, no matter who did it, you're pseudo. So, but in today's time, right, there's a person that has, I would say, a pretty large organization, FBA. And if we don't mention it, then we cowards. Right? I don't even know if he'll get winning this show. He's the one that had, and big up to Tariq for his video skills. Right? And he made the first pseudo documentary called Color. This is the first time I said something about that. Right? And sometimes you just sit back and you say, huh? What do you mean, Unc? What do you mean, Sean P? Because I know if I'm saying this pseudo and I can read and write and see and know the data, right? I don't think you would have a problem with calling it pseudo. Would you? Right. So you know what I mean? See, gone. So listen, I'm, when brother Sean on the bill, nothing to get you in no trouble, but I know you don't give a damn about that Tariq document. So listen, nah, you don't listen to that, yo. But we've had discussions over, is it like, although it's pseudo, but don't you think it did some good? I mean, but that's when it like spread the eye, bro. People say, yo, that's when people was getting the content. I was like, I don't know. It's not legitimate information, yo. It's not. It's just misinformation. I see you, Sosa. Yeah, Professor James Moss. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead, Sean. Who your name was cool. Umar. Umar. Yeah, he wild. He did. He did, yo. It seemed like it's on purpose, though. They gonna fight. Crazy, man. Yeah, your Wi-Fi acting up on you. I don't know why. Yeah, but you got to. What's wrong with Wi-Fi, man? We on Science for Sean. That shit is perfect. Man, like and subscribe to Science for Shit Chat. You and Sean cool again? We ain't never not because was fighting. Shit, we don't. I ain't agree. Did the doggone sit? Let me stop, yo. Oh, okay. Yeah, infinite wisdom. Yeah, we good. We ain't never stop. I just want to do certain things I'm not doing. Yeah, all right, you sound all right now. You good. You good. Yeah, you sound good. You might be hearing me late. You hear me? All right. You hear me? All right, get that straight, man. I can't believe I had to this thing. Okay, all right. So, my humble opinion that the leading authority on tourisms where African Americans being in America be funny thing is the FBA. Take it or leave it. Based off of his high level ability to create documentaries that go around the world, he is the pseudo of the year for me. But I have to say it. I would just have to say it. And this ain't no slight, right? Look it up, right? He has produced pseudoscientific material based off the nature of the lack of rigor. Okay. We would have to say African and Moorish contributions, the whole 9 yards, man. He's treading on thin ice. So yeah, that Higala documentary series, particularly that first installment, the untold history of people of Aboriginal, Moors, and African descent. Yeah, yours widely considered pseudoscience academic standards, ladies and gentlemen. And you know what I hear, we follow academic and scientific standards point blank. You don't gotta like us, right? You don't gotta understand, but you can look up and figure out what academic scientists. You're a pseudo. Now, it has been very influential to the Afrocentric circles, okay? It has sparked important conversations, man, about the history and identity and claims, you know what I'm saying? But they often lack to be considered credible within the mainstream historical scientific scholarship, y'all. That's all we saying, bro. We ain't saying nothing crazy. You know, we ain't cracking jokes. We being dead serious here. I just feel like our people supposed to